If you get motion sick, you probably shouldn't watch this one. Metro Gravity is a rhythm-action, gravity puzzle platformer by Marco Game Dev. Stephanie is woken up in a mysterious realm where gravity functions strangely. Every surface your feet touch becomes your new down, and puzzle and exploration focus on manipulating gravity in clever ways to traverse the world. Throughout the halls, you'll meet a variety of NPCs who will enlighten you on the rules of the realm you're all trapped in, although everything you really need to know you'll learn by playing. The gravity mechanic seems really simple to master gamers like me who have played Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, but even at the end I was still mixing up my directions and getting lost. Understanding the world's layout is integral to timely navigation. I try to assume difficulties like these are my problem, a skill issue if you will, but there are definitely ways to alleviate the amount of raw thought required just to get from point ass to point butt to point cheeks, like a 3-axis compass or something. I think in a perfect world every room would have its own bespoke bird's eye camera, but I can only imagine how much work that would take. You'd have to design every room in the game around those cameras, so we're definitely not going to get it in a patch. Regardless, the puzzles are all excellent brain ticklers that make smart use of your items and game knowledge. I got stumped on a couple for a while, but they're not too much harder than a Zelda puzzle. I needed more help with navigation than anything. Some rooms are locked behind laser eyes you have to parry and sync with the beat, but the number of eyes impacts the number of notes in a 4-beat measure that you'll need to parry on. I took math and a band class 10 years ago, so I didn't have too tough of a time with these, but if you don't understand fractions or fucking 7th notes, then good luck. This is the rhythm combat test I like, and thankfully when you get it right the eyes disappear forever. Items you get are all interesting and fun to use, and each has a function that allows you to traverse quickly if you know what you're doing, like shifting gravity towards the end of a long room and then using a lifting weight to fast fall past all the enemies and crush shit with your fat fucking ass. I think generally Metro Gravity's art style is immaculate, but Stephanie's design is kind of uncanny. This is beyond Tomb Raider horny. We're encroaching upon Heidi territory here. And don't worry, your cheeks do jiggle when you enter a deflect pose. There are other women, all with giant asses, but their designs support the ass more, either by being more in proportion with their body or just by being cartoonier in the first place. And when I saw the Brazilian flag in her room, I assumed the worst, but I don't know. Maybe the giant ass is unrelated and the dev is just Brazilian. Brasileiros are always releasing excellent Metroidvanias. I'll let you think on it. I don't mean to speak out against gooning to games. I do get some value out of seeing attractive people in my cartoons, but I don't get the same value out of seeing like a squash with a face drawn on it, or a pumpkin at the end of a broom handle. If you go on the forums, you'll see dudes defending her design with shit like fucking the perfect blend of fertility, beauty, and femininity, and like, I'm from Latin America, and this is what all women look like. And yeah, I believe some women probably do look like this, but given what else the game is telling me, I don't believe Marco was trying to promote body positivity here. I think they were just horny and wanted to stare at a big ass while they worked on their passion project. And that's fine. I don't think she needs to be changed, I just think she looks like shit. If Stephanie had more of a personality, her design wouldn't bother me so much, but I thought she was really bland. The other characters bounce off her well, but not in a way that feels indicative of her character. The story is decent. I didn't love the dialogue, but it was fine. Every character is trapped in the halls in order to forget a major regret in their life, and to escape they have to remember the thing they regret. The halls rearrange themselves every time someone new enters, and aspects of the halls are influenced by the characters that reside within. You learn more about each boss after you beat them, but I was never really invested enough in the story for the pathos to pay off. The reveal of Stephanie's regret towards the end of the game should have felt like a gut punch, but I just took it in stride. There's survival horror logs and shit which might have improved my experience, but I didn't read them. I'm sure others will enjoy the plot more than I did. The best thing I can say about the story is that it's really trying to punch above its weight class. There's themes of mental illness and pushing your loved ones away, literally, that relate back to Stephanie and her story. Maybe I'm the simple one here. Every zone in the halls is beautiful, full of mind-bending scenery with a nice art style, and all featuring unique enemies that aren't too complex but will tear you to shreds if you don't know what you're doing. It's a surprisingly hard game. Enemy attacks come out frequently and quickly, but you have a long-range weapon for hitting enemies from the wrong surface. Bosses are excellent all around, big spectacular gauntlets that focus on survival while still giving you opportunities to fight back. And each has a score counter to encourage replay and mastery. I got a little frustrated by the telegraphing on some attacks, but because it's a rhythm battle where attacks always come out in the same order every time, learning the fight isn't overly difficult, while actually performing well still leaves room for improvement. Pretty cool! Nothing in the game will prepare you for the boss fights except fighting the bosses, which feels clunky, but in hindsight I kinda like it. It was a major suck to finally find the doctor and all of a sudden I'm actually engaging with my enemy, watching their moves and responding in kind. But also I'm someone who absolutely hated Sekiro. I didn't enjoy Sekiro until my second playthrough, after I had played a worse sword game and realized I would rather be playing a good game instead. Metro Gravity has a similar setup. Most attacks are parried, the rest are dodged through or jumped over, smack enemies when they're resting, you know. You basically have to treat every enemy with respect unless you just have enough health to walk through their enormous patrol paths, or go around them. Fighting common enemies never really felt good. The more enemies surround you, the more beats you have to deflect on, the fewer opportunities you have to fight back. Finding those openings and beating enemies and creating more openings did feel pretty good, but it didn't really outweigh how much group encounters just felt like a chore. I don't think these big stickers that telegraph attacks work that well. By the time I process that they're there, the attack has already hit me. They work in Sekiro because they're just telling you to watch the enemy's animation more closely, but in Metro Gravity, enemy animations don't telegraph attacks, it's entirely in the UI. Individual bosses and mini-bosses that you can focus on are where the combat really shines. It feels great to throw yourself at an encounter and slowly learn all its tricks. Minor enemies have all the same mechanics as bosses, but feel disconnected because they match the beat of the song but not its groove. The big showy boss fights with bespoke music behind them are a massive step up, both in difficulty and in quality. You never get access to more combat verbs, and your base attack never gets stronger. I was waiting the entire playthrough for a damage increase, but in the end I think I would have just preferred less combat so I could better appreciate the gorgeous environs. If all you're interested in is rolling credits, you can focus entirely on defense and wait for the boss to get tired so you can wail on them, but your score will suffer if you aren't capitalizing on openings throughout the fight. And every boss can be rematched for free as soon as they're gone, so the opportunity to improve is always present. To fight each boss, you'll need to explore their home zone and solve puzzles and shit to unlock their prisons. Overall, I like the puzzles a lot. They range from really simple to fairly complex, but I never got frustrated trying to solve them. I never really liked puzzles with reflexive or timed elements, which Metro Gravity has a good amount of, but they at least make more sense here in a game that's already trying to challenge your timing and reflexes. The puzzles can be a little clunky to solve at times, but they never feel unfinished or untested. They just feel like the game is trying to get as much out of each puzzle as possible. I really like this game. Even if I have problems with it both aesthetically and mechanically, there just aren't enough good 3D Metroidvanias out there, and Metro Gravity really hits the mark here. The fantastical design is surprisingly transportive, and shifting your perspective to solve platforming puzzles never gets old. If you're sitting on the fence, like one of your ass cheeks is normal size and the other is inflated to quintuple size, try out the demo. I bought the game before finishing it, but I'm pretty sure it goes to the first boss, and if you like it enough to buy it, your save carries over to the full game. Anyway, I rate Metro Gravity as being more fun than Gravity Rush and Metroid Prime put together. And called her ass fat, but if it was really fat, the rest of her would be too.